What's up, Intercultural Communications? Welcome back to, well, I guess the final of everything. So, we're going to get right into this. This is Who Am I? So, who am I? My name is Graham Jackson Kadel. I identify as a Caucasian male, 22 years of age, an extreme sports enthusiast, student at Spokane Falls Community College, and employee of the YMCA of the Inland Northwest. My identity is something that I find changes as I perceive new information. My perception changes, so do my attitudes and values as a result. Currently, though, I feel like I figured it out. There's little to say to my identity as a white male, except for I have privilege that others do not. This bugs me so much. Not because of the fact that I think that is hooey. I know white privilege is, in fact, a thing. I am more likely to get a job, higher pay, and also less likely to be harassed by police. The reason why I do not like this is because of my horizontal identity. I believe that everyone should pretty much be equal. I don't believe that there is a hierarchy or anything else in particular. We all bleed red. We all suffer. We all have great days. We all have sadness, anger, happiness, everything. Now that I've said that, I also must say that I am a collectivist. I like to cling to people. I like to bring them in and hold that more dear than I would monetary value. At the same time, though, I do have to acknowledge the fact that I grew up in an individualistic society, and individualism is prominent in the United States. I have been influenced by this as well. One other thing that I've noticed about myself throughout this class is I have more of feminine traits when it comes to encouraging the people that I work with in my social group and everything. In my social group and in work, I do not believe that there is anything to stop someone from pursuing what would make them happiest in life. I believe it would be unethical to try to hinder someone from doing so. My social group likes to push boundaries, either by norm breaching or body breaking. We will push it to the limit. My values in each of these groups are very relaxed. Our definition of right and wrong is very simple. Imagine a flowchart, if you will. There is two different options. There's one question up top. The question is, will this hurt someone physically or emotionally? If the answer is yes, then the result is don't do it. If the result is no, then it is do it. Very simple, very easy. We don't judge in my social group. Whatever the persons choose, that is their decision, as long as it is not harming to others. I also believe that if little Billy or little Susie wants to play with G.I. Joes or Barbie dolls, they should be able to play with both. No one should have definite roles assigned to them. They should choose the roles that they like the most and they're most proficient at. I don't like the idea of superiority or inferiority, as I've said before, but I also don't like to beat around the bush. When it comes to conflicts, I like to engage in the conflict. I'm not an obliger. I don't enjoy the aspect of someone being like, oh, well, I'm just going to side with you. I'd much rather know why. This may be in part because I have a linear worldview and I like analytics. I like the aspect of knowing how and why everything works. I also, on the same time, even though I might be more constructed into analytics and linear worldview, I do speak in connotative meanings, meaning I view linear worldview as, set in stone, rules, and denotative talking. But for me, connotative meanings stress the subject matter and interpretive meanings and the word constructed by the individual members based on the cultural and personalized language experience. So I like to use terms like sick, dope, rad, awesome, whatever, to mean something was impressively conducted. I have learned from my peers and my friend groups these connotative meanings. This is common language in the United States. Another example of how I'm just a part of the majority here. Or at least in the areas of the country I've had the pleasure of going to, this has been the situation. Although I may encourage the use of connotative meanings, as I had said, I got that linear worldview. Just to tell you what a linear worldview is, it emphasizes the rational of analytical thinking and is based on objective reality. That's on page 119 if I said that a little too quick. So even though I might have linear worldview, I do have relative worldview when it comes to basis on international conflicts, or relational worldview, sorry. My first question after an international conflict is questioning the loyalty and trust amongst cultures in question. See, I'm an interdependent person. I have an interdependent identity as well as my collectivism and my horizontal self. I rely on other people to help me through hard times. And I believe that as a society, we need to rely on each one of everyone else's culture and all of the world to be united. So the very first question I'm going to ask is, how did this emotionally affect the relations? I'm not going to wonder about how much money we're losing. I'm not going to wonder about why it happened until after. I'm going to first wonder how everyone is feeling in the positions that have the power to oversee this. Now, even though I may have connotative meanings, it doesn't just stop there. I also like to use a lot of nonverbal communications. Nonverbal communications is the use of non-linguistic or parallelistic cues that express through multiple communication channels in the particular societal setting, page 132. My specific use is kinesthetics. Kinesthetics, which is the study of the posture, body movements, gestures, and facial expressions. My form of kinesthetics in question is SADFISH. SADFISH is an acronym for sadness, disgust, fear, interest, surprise, happiness, and is primarily conducted in the face. So, I like to engage in face-to-face interactions. I don't really care for the internet too much, even though that's what we're doing it on right now. Just saying. But that's something probably I'll talk about later. Anyways, I am a very animated person, as you can probably tell from how much I'm always moving around. When it comes to the aspect of nonverbal communications, though, I not only use SADFISH to show facial expressions, but I also use gestures to convey the meanings. So if I have a stern look on my face and I'm doing this to someone that, if I was lifeguarding, for example, was breaking a rule and I whistled at them, it'll show that this is concerning. I need you to come over to me and I need to explain the rules to you. But I could also be like waving to a friend saying hi, or could be giving a thumbs up saying that was a great job. Now, even though I believe that that is all well and fine, this could also get me into theoretical hot water. Goddamn meanings. Which, in another culture, me doing a thumbs up could be like, I could be meaning like, dude, that was a great job, you're so rad, and all this stuff. When really, to them, I am saying like, up yours, and very insulting things. So, I believe that with gestures comes a lot of responsibility. That being said, to think that our gestures of, hey, great job, or waving, or whatever, is superior would be ethnocentric. Ethnocentrism is defined as the means that we consider the views and standards of our own in-group as more important than those in the out-group. This is a dangerous realm of thought, as we have seen in our world. The idea that an in-group is superior is absurd. This is incompetent. And in the recent events in Charlottesville highlight this. It also highlights the fact that there is still hate speech and hate crimes being conducted. Hate crimes are typically motivated by hostility to a victim as a member of a group, e.g. basis of ethnicity, race, disability, age, religion, gender, or sexual orientation, page 176. Meaning the bullying in childhood is probably considered a hate crime if it was based on alienation of hatred of the other members of the different cultural groups. I believe that we can I believe we can all remember an instance where we were part of an out-group and then we were bullied because of it. This brings me up to another topic of discussion. To correlate that again, horizontal worldview, or horizontal self. I am an interdependent, as I've said. I cling to other people. This has caused me to have a high public self and self-disclosure. which also has led me into an interdependent self-conflict lens. During conflicts, I find myself attempting to make win-win scenarios and find the biggest problems I can encounter in dealing with the issue with another friend and making it the best scenario to help them. Although I do take into consideration other people's feelings and opinions, that doesn't mean I'm obliging them. I find myself finding a more compromising view when it comes to the conflicts. Compromising is defined as a book by giving and taking in concession, approaching to the reach a midpoint agreement concerning the conflict issue. Compromising has been found most proficient in my life because of my work. I work with teenagers, and most of the time they want tangible resources. My public self refers to the facets of those persons that are rapidly available and easily shared with others. Since I disclose a lot into my public self, I do this to try to maintain popularity or acceptance into a majority group. This may sound weird, but I am a majority group identifier. I have not been placed into it because of any ethnicity separation, but because of the fact that my parents were that and I grew up into that. So identifiers are children who identify with the parents, our dominant culture, religion, and they may not publicly acknowledge or identify the other parent. Due to the fact that I didn't have it, I just kind of went with it. Remember how I said that I don't like the internet? Again, I'm rushing through this to try to make sure I hit that time mark. I got a couple minutes left. So, E-Netison. E-Netison stands for a group of generations of individuals from any group wired to the internet or interspace. I am a part of the gliding E-Netison identity. That means that I have a weaker attachment to the wired community and reflect on a larger international group membership. I have the tribe mentality. I like to be a part of a group. Although I may have said that, I don't have Twitter or any of those social media accounts like that. That has made, in result, a harder chance of me getting to diversify my cultural competence because I can't learn about other people's cultures from them. My purpose of sharing this is to all inspire and to tell you to remain culturally flexible and to not look at other cultures as being different, but something that we can all learn from. We must break down these borders to move forward from an unconscious incompetence to a conscious competence or unconscious competency. There is a saying from a professional skier/snowboarder, and his name is Shane McConkey. You have one life, live it. You have one world, protect it. This is only feasible if we can find a way to communicate about all of our problems. Anyways, y'all, hope you guys had a good one. Thanks for tuning in.